This is John Groves coming to you from my home studio. For today's Bible talk, I want to return to the subject of armor as we encounter it in both the Old and New Testaments of the Bible. In the Old Testament, as we've already touched on, we have the descriptions of Goliath's armor and Saul's armor. Both descriptions share what is translated as a coat of mail, something you wear in combat. One of our difficulties with this text is that what we recognize as a coat of mail simply did not exist in ancient Palestine, where our famous encounter took place. Instead, there are suggestions that perhaps the Hebrew word shiryan, which the modern day editors and translators have deemed a coat of mail, perhaps simply represents some form of armament, offensive or defensive in nature. One intriguing commentary I had occasion to read, quite apart from the Bible, ascribes the meaning to our Hebrew word shiryan as a form of protection that exists naturally or which the user can wear. An armadillo, for example, has plates on its hide that protect it, much as ancient brass and iron plates, large or small, protected soldiers in combat. The word also applies to soldiers in a tank, as well as the body armor that soldiers even today have occasion to wear. The notion that a person puts on a coat of armor makes it seem as though preparation for battle can be similar to putting on clothes for daily wear. In Paul's example in his letter to the Ephesians, Paul reminds his Christian compatriots that they are engaged in a struggle against spiritual forces of evil. He tells his readers that they ought to put on the whole armor of God to fight off the wiles of the devil. He then provides a quick and comprehensive rundown of those parts as follows: the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, shoes to proclaim the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Since the Apostle Paul lived during the ascendancy of the Roman Empire, he clearly was exposed, as were his first readers, to the presence of armed Roman soldiers, precisely as he describes the principal components of their armor and arms. Charles Fillmore, in his Revealing Word, describes the armor of God as the robe of righteousness. He states that error cannot enter the consciousness that is strongly fortified with the light, life, power, and substance of spirit. After considering the metaphysical interpretation of armor as a form of protection, we want to ask what the things are that serve to protect us from the figurative slings and arrows that we encounter every day in the world. We generally do not go to work or out of our homes wearing armor or combat boots, but we adopt behaviors that help us cope with stressful situations. Maybe we tend to exhibit a cheerful outlook regardless of the circumstances. Or perhaps we develop a rough exterior so people will not be drawn too closely to us. Whatever the adaptation, we do things that mask our inner being and allow us to get on with life. Young David discovered that the use of armor, as Saul envisioned it, would simply not suit him. He had faith that God's presence within would suffice in his encounter with the giant Goliath. We should be thinking of the things that give us a sense of protection and explore in their stead what the things are that truly offer us protection. We need not engage in reckless behavior, for sure, but neither should we withdraw from our anticipated encounters with potential adversaries. Until next time, when we will again return to this topic and explore yet another metaphysical interpretation of our story.